Martha Healy, 1840 to 1920, was sent to Canada in the 1840s for education. She joined the Congregation of Notre Dame in Montreal in 1855. In 1863, she left the order and moved to Boston, where two brothers and her sisters were. On 25 July 1865, in Waltham, Massachusetts, she married Jeremiah Cashman, a man of Irish heritage. Josephine Amanda Healy, 1849 to 1883, also went to the convent school in Montreal. After several years with a family in Boston, she joined the Order of the Religious Hospitallers of St. Joseph's. She was the third of the siblings to die as a young adult. Eugene Healy, 1848-1914, only two went orphan, was the only Healy who did not achieve as much in life. He seemed to struggle to find a place, yet he was one of the longer livers of the crew. How ironic is that? Descendants. Because of their mother's mixed ancestry, the Healy children were more than half European as well as partially African in ancestry. Much evidence exists that with the social capital of their education and father's wealth, all the Healy children were accepted into northern U.S. and Canadian society as white Irish Americans, as it should be. They were certainly far more Caucasian in appearance than they were black. And if I were walking in their shoes, I think everybody would take the path of least resistance. And with their physical appearance, it certainly was easier for them and less painful to live as Irish Americans than as slaves or as free blacks, quote unquote. Martha and Michael, who married and had children, each chose European American partners of Irish Catholic descent. Their religion had been integral to their lives, and they wanted to ensure that future generations of their family would continue to be part of white Catholic society. In 1865, Michael Healy married Mary Jane Roach, the daughter of Irish Catholic immigrants. They had one child, a son named Frederick Aloysius, 1870 to 1912. According to James M. O'Toole, the historian who wrote about the family and the conundrum of race, Michael Healy repeatedly referred to white settlers in Alaska as our people, and was able to pass this racial identity on to a subsequent generation. His teenage son, Fred, who accompanied his father on a voyage in 1883, scratched his name into a rock on a remote island above the Arctic Circle, proudly telling his diary that he was the first white boy to do so. Frederick Healy worked as a newspaperman in San Francisco before becoming a partner in a business firm. On April 12, 1906, he married Edith Rutland Hemming of Colorado Springs, Colorado. They would have three sons. Edith Healy was a daughter of a Colorado Springs banker, Charles C. Hemming, who gave his name to the Hemming Plaza in Jacksonville, Florida, his hometown. A former Confederate soldier, Hemming placed a 62-foot-tall Confederate monument in the park in 1898. Frederick Healy died of typhoid fever at his home in Santa Barbara, California, and is buried with his parents in Holy Cross Cemetery in Colma, California. His parents were Michael Healy and Mary Jane Roach Healy. And that is the conclusion of the Healy family, and I highly recommend that you read the book. I think it's fascinating American history, and it just illustrates the paramountcy of race then and now. And I just think it's a shame that this family that had such little black blood had to go through all of this. And they just should have been accepted as Irish Americans, and that was it. After all, the anti-white race came out of genetic mutations of the black race. The anti-human race came out of genetic mutations out of the black race. The oldest human remains found on the planet are Lucy, found by Lewis and Mary Leakey in 1962 in the Olduvai Gorge in Kenya. Her skull was carbon dated at 1.6 million years of age. And a black boy named Sibi, found in South Africa, named by the archaeologists that discovered it as Sibi, and his skull has been carbon dated at 1.9 million years of age. And human life began on the continent of Africa, and all other races and ethnicities and nationalities came out of that common origin in Africa. So all of the human race came out of the black race in Africa. So we're all related. But for this family to be their black heritage would be discovered and deny them opportunities that they were afforded because they were presumed to be white. It's just really unfortunate, then and now.